Hello guys, welcome to another episode about studying archetypes and major tarot arcanas. I picked the darker side of the day, which is evening twilight, because certain archetypes require um, that darkness that emanates in every aspect of it. And it's not necessarily in a bad way. Darkness, it's the inevitable part of light, because only those who understand the darkness, they can understand the light, and on the contrast make a conclusion how to distinguish one from another. Today's archetype is going to be Moon. 18 major arcana of tarot. Moon, that's the very serious and complex archetype, and it's inevitable for everybody's spiritual practitioner's journey. Everybody hits that dark night of the soul, which was referenced in previous arcanas as well, but nothing more than Moon can show you the real dark night of the soul and what it is all about. Everybody has that position in life where they understand that they no longer can communicate with those people who they communicated in the past. Their ways, so to speak, split up. They drifted apart, but they yet haven't gathered new friends. They are feeling extremely lonely, extremely misunderstood, extremely confused sometimes. Those state of being are very big indication that the practitioner is moving towards the dark night of the soul, and the archetype Moon can describe it better than any others. That loneliness by default, that loneliness when nobody can seem to understand and relate to you, that ability of tapping into your own intuition is so strong. Sometimes it's even creepy. It freaks people out. They can feel so many different strange phenomena, and they do not know how to explain what they see, what they feel, but they know there is something out there. Yeah. On the major arcana and traditional tarot, which we're going to dive deep very soon, because every glyph contains a clue and the hidden mystery. There is so many things hidden, but the very important part of it is the road. It's the way, and I chose the location for the filming, which will have the road, just to give us an additional vibe of the archetype Moon. People with archetype Moon do have more of a feminine energy in them, more of a mysterious one, more of the darker side of the spectrum, as I like to call it, because that's a part of yin and yang. Yet archetype Moon is also, you see, the road, the path that I was talking about. That's what I was referring to. It's also the archetype of the psychics, of the profound visionaries. Like, for example, if the archetype Star, which is next one, will be more about people who are very good at healing, at holistic health, because they're all about the nature and tuning into nature and vegetation. Then archetype Moon, it's more about the archetype of psychologists. They can penetrate into the deepest, darkest corners of anyone's soul. They can see something that's not available to majority of people, and they can, with one right question, extract so much information from one person and make everybody feel so great. Moon is always changing. Moon always has the cycles. So on the arcana, on the archetype Moon, we see all the stages of the moon, all the cycles. Yeah, we see the new moon, the new beginning, the fresh start. We see Moon having a distinct facial features, just like in archetype Sun, which gives us a lot of idea about how conscious it is. We also see the eclipse. The time of the year when eclipse occurs are always the most turbulent, the craziest of all times, when everybody, even the most thick-skinned, non-spiritual folks, they understand that something is happening, something is out there, and they all question it. The sun is hidden by the light of Moon, and the reflection of the lights are radiating from behind. But all the eclipse season are always about overshadowing something, throwing the light onto something that has been in the darker corners of our soul before. It's like sweeping under the carpet. You're not going to clean it. If you're going to sweep under the carpet, it's still going to be there. And no matter how scary it is to go to that, what's it called, the part of the house where everything, all the garbage or whatever unnecessary things are stored, and nobody ever thinks about them unless it's time to do so, right? You know, the attic will be on the rooftop, but something even behind, like below the house, there's this place where people keep like all the stuff that they don't usually use, and nobody wants to go down there because it's so dark and there's so many spider webs and whatnot, and nobody wants to sweep it and clean it. But this is how analogically we can compare our soul, which has not been healed, which has not been facing our own insecurities, our own shadows, our own things we need to work on. Archetype moon is one of those powerful archetypes that can spread the light on those things of ourselves we were always fearing and we did not want to face, right? So the road that our fool's journey continues on goes through the desert, but it's really hard to step on this road. You see the crawfish. Crawfish is the animal that kind of pulls everybody, like it makes one move forward, but then it's so scared it moves three back again, because the swamp is warm. Yeah, it's a swamp, but it's my swamp. It's warm and nice, it's comfortable, and this is the representation of human nature. This is inertia, which we all consist of. Human body, earthy body, it's very inertious, it's very lazy by nature. It doesn't want to step out of its comfort zone. It doesn't want to go to the gym and work those muscles to feel better the next day. It doesn't want to exercise. It would rather stay in bed and, I don't know, watch TV and eat a bunch of snacks, right? So this is the representation of human nature, the swamp where nothing changes and the water starts smelling bad, because when there is no movement, everybody knows in nature that water starts having a certain type of smell. Crawfish does represent also zodiac sign Cancer, not necessarily in this arcana, but people who are ruled by the moon, they are always considered Cancer zodiac sign in astrology, in Western astrology, and those people are known for being very, very sensitive, because moon is one of those celestial bodies that enables everybody to be able to feel and distinguish their thoughts from emotions. Like uh, they're mostly spending their consciousness is mostly spent throughout their emotional bodies versus their critical thinking bodies. So those people are very, very hypersensitive, especially if they're not aware of their nature, and especially if they don't have any other air signs within their charts. But nevertheless, let's get back to the moon right here. What do we see? We see the road that goes through the desert. The goal is to reach those towers. The towers contain the knowledge and the wisdom, and level up, the next step. But our journey through the desert is not going to be that simple. We see and the friend and the foe. We see and the dog and the wolf, who are likely to stop us. And both of those stoppers are strong enough, because sometimes you don't even know who is more dangerous, your friend or your foe. Because your friends and your friends, your family, they want to talk you out of the going to this journey, because they want you to be safe, because they care about you genuinely, because they are your friends and they're looking out for your highest interest. But they don't know what's better for you, because they never been there before, and they would always tell you, no, don't go, don't immigrate, don't do this, don't open this business, don't be with that person, it's dangerous, they're gonna hurt you, the business is not gonna work out, you're not gonna make it, the country you're gonna immigrate to has XYZ problems, you know nobody, you have no money, blah blah blah, XYZs. And that's the reason, right? They talk reason to you, but they also are interested in you staying the same, because when you're the same, you're safe, you're just like everybody else, and it's easier to not necessarily manipulate you, because your friends, they do not want to manipulate you, they just want to be, so to speak, in control and remain on the same level. Whilst what happens with the foes, with enemies representation of the wolf, they wolf in the sheepskin, yeah, they pretend to be your friends, but they're not looking out for your highest interest, and they are actually want you to fail, and they want you to go on that dangerous journey, because they hope that you're not going to make it, because if you will, it means you're no longer belong to their kin, you're somebody else. And everybody in every society, in every time of the history, were always fearing something they did not understand. The journey through the desert continues, and the practitioners faces all types of fears that can happen on its way there. But only those who've been having the audacity to take that leap of faith and take that step and continue that journey, only those people can solely call themselves a risk taker, a leader, because regardless of the fears that they faced throughout the way, they made it through. And once you face your own fears, and it's the hardest thing to do, because the work on oneself is the highest paid job of all. Is the hardest one, yes, it is. Work on oneself, but it is the highest paid job indeed. And the journey continues, and everybody who learns to tap into their intuition, who are already moving up from the heart level, we're moving to the throat level. And after the throat level, we step into the third eye, and that's when the intuition can be very, very profound. Not only you can receive as a signal what's going to happen from the outside world, right? Not only you're a receptor, you are also capable of projecting your will onto the masses, projecting your will onto the things that surround you. Simple as that. You really want something, some type of food, some type of dessert, you think about it, and there you go. Your roommate brings you exactly the same thing you really wanted, or your friend calls you up and invites you for the dinner for that particular dish you've been craving. That's how powerful projector that goes outward. It's also called psionics, but it's a topic for another video. Let me show you another variation of designer decks. This is a midnight tarot, and I really like it. The moon archetype here is a representation of this gorgeous lady who is wearing this pale silver moon dress color of the very, very like medieval kind of style, which I find very beautiful and appealing. And she looks at the sky, and this whole darkness around her, this is how moon energy is. It's always uncertain, it's always in cycles, it's never the same, it always changes. People like that are very mysterious, they're oftentimes misunderstood, and you don't really know what to expect from them. And also you got to be aware when you make tarot card spread and when you see archetype moon, it's not always positive connotation. Most of the time it represents some kind of um, like when you're clueless, when you don't really know what's going on, when you don't understand the situation fully. The situation requires further analysis and further study. The situation requires more analytical thinking right there, because moon does not show the clarity in any ways, and depending on which card surround it, it's going to tell you a lot. But oftentimes moon doesn't have the positive connotation. Oftentimes it also represents the addiction or some very, very strong connection between two people on the emotional level, which both of them don't understand what really is happening. So if you find the information about archetypes and arcanas interesting and you would like to know more about it, I invite all of you to embark on the journey with me and start being my student on the Archetypal Psychology course. All the information is below this video. I would like to make this more available and affordable for everybody. So I'm going to give you guys 50% off through the month of September. It's a good time to start new school. It's a good time to start new career. Maybe turn your hobby into income. A lot of people find that their hobby to do tarot spreads, they want to make something bigger out of it to actually start helping people. But before you can do it, you have to absolutely know what you're doing, because you take a very big responsibility with that. It's very fun, it's very interesting field, it's everlasting, it's never ending journey of self-perfection and self-discovery, and everybody is able to tap into their own intuition. It's available to everybody. Upon certain practices, everybody can achieve those levels. The course is yours forever. Once you purchase it, it's yours as long as my channel exists, and you can study it at your own pace. I would love to share all the wisdom and knowledge with you guys, and I would love to hear your feedback as well. Please invite your like-minded friends. If you have anybody who is interested in this type of knowledge, please invite them to my channel and send them the link of this video and other videos that you find interesting. I really do appreciate your time, and I hope that your journey will be lit with light and hope, and your journey is going to be super fun and interesting to remember. Bye for now. I'll see you in another video.